Hi guys, Fireplace here, and welcome back to another interview on the channel. And today, guys, we are going to be looking at the AFL 2022 fixture. Alright, guys, now, just so you know, all times are in my time, which is Australian Central Daylight Time. So, and the clock would have changed by that time as well. So, yeah, the Queensland times will be half an hour ahead. But anyway, going to be looking at 2022 fixture for the AFL. Going to be going over some close matchups and all that. So all this is on the AFL website and the AFL app. So make sure if you haven't already checked that, you go ahead and check. Now this may absolutely bore you to bits, because this will probably be a long video because we're going from round 1 to 23 all in this one video. But anyway, I want to get started. So then this can be as quickly as possible. Now, I just want to have a quick little discussion, not too long, but we're going to be starting off with round 1. Wednesday, 16th of March, Melbourne Western Bulldogs, MCG Victoria. Prime time, that's the new opener. Maybe just for this year, maybe it might go back to Richmond Carlton for 2023 or 2024. We'll just have to wait. But anyway, Melbourne Dogs starts off the... Melbourne versus Dogs starts off the season. Grand final rematch, really interesting Wednesday game. Not very often you see that. And then, of course, Thursday, your traditional MCG Carlton Richmond. The reason why I changed it is because Richmond always smash Carlton, but I don't know. I feel like we're in for a good Carlton Richmond in 2022. Friday, March 18, we have St Kilda Collingwood Marvel Stadium under lights. Saturday games, we have Geelong Essendon MCG day game. We have an interesting time and interesting place to game here. Accor Stadium, Australia, New South Wales. Now, got no idea what Accor Stadium is. I believe it was used as like an Olympic stadium. GWS Sydney, big rivalry to open up the rounds, to open up the year, as in round 1. Interesting. Hopefully Buddy can get 1,000 goals there. Late that night, Brisbane hope to keep a hot streak going against Port Adelaide, by hosting them at the Gabba that night. And then Sunday, March 20, we have Hawthorn North Melbourne, the day game. Twilight game, 3:40 my time, 4:10 for those eastern guys, those people that are in the eastern states. Adelaide, Fremantle, the Adelaide Oval. And we finish things off with a night game for me, but a twilight game for those WA people. West Coast Suns at Optus. Alright, so now we're going to be going right back onto round 2 now. So round 2, Dogs Carlton opens up the round Thursday. Friday night we have the Swans taking on the Cats at the SCG. Sunday, day game being Collingwood Adelaide at the MCG. That'll be an interesting game as well. Yeah, that'll be a good game. I reckon one to keep your eye out for. Essendon Brisbane Marvel Stadium twilight game. 2 night games. One being Port Adelaide hosting Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval, and then Gold Coast hosting Melbourne at Metricon Stadium on Sunday. Day game, North Melbourne taking on West Coast at Marvel. What an encounter we have there, I reckon. I reckon that's going to be a really good game for that round. Then we have Richmond taking on GWS at the MCG. Another really interesting game, 3:20 Eastern times. And then we finish off the round with a Fremantle taking on St Kilda at Optus Stadium. So that's round 2. Alright, round 3. We start off with the Dogs taking on the Swans at Marvel Stadium. Then Friday, we have a bit of a double header here. We have Friday, April 1, we have a bit of a double header. Melbourne taking on Essendon in the MCG. And an Adelaide Crows Port Adelaide showdown. Now, of course, I'll be watching the showdown, barracking for the Crows. If you're in Melbourne, you'll probably end up watching Melbourne Essendon. But I think the Crows hosting a prime time Friday night showdown is going to be really good stuff. I reckon there's some good action coming there. Just had to have a drink. Really exciting for that one. And then on Saturday, we have Giants taking on Gold Coast as the day game. Collingwood taking on Geelong that night. And then Brisbane taking on North at the Gabba that night as well. Now, the day game for the Sunday, April 3, round 3, Carlton Hawthorn MCG. Then you have St Kilda Richmond Marvel Stadium. And then later that night, you have West Coast taking on the Fremantle Dockers as a derby that opens up for them. Then Thursday night, round 4, Port Adelaide, Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval Friday night. Geelong versus Brisbane, GMHBA Stadium. Interesting. Last time that played, we know how that shaped out. Sydney taking on North in the Saturday day game. Twilight game, we have Collingwood taking on West Coast, Marvel Stadium. 2 night games. Richmond Dogs, MCG Victoria. And Fremantle GWS, Optus Stadium. Freo GWS will be a good game. And I reckon so will Richmond Western Bulldogs as well. 2 very good night games there. Sunday games, Essendon take on Adelaide at Marvel Stadium that day. Later that day, Hawthorn take on St Kilda just before that twilight time slot. And then a little bit later, Gold Coast host a 3:40, 4:10 game for those on the eastern side. Gold Coast taking on Carlton at Metricon Stadium. So that rounds out round number 4. Now we're going to hit round number 5. Thursday, we start off with Brisbane Collingwood. Now, even though these teams may not be evenly matched, what an encounter it always is. There's always some sort of interesting moment to come out of that. Friday, this is the Easter game, I believe. I believe it's the Easter game. North Western Bulldogs, 3:50. My time, 4:20 other on the Eastern time. And later that night, West Coast taking on Sydney at Optus Stadium. Now on Saturday, we have St Kilda taking on Gold Coast, Marvel Stadium, Victoria. Adelaide taking on Richmond at the Adelaide Oval as the twilight game at night. 1 night game, Melbourne GWS MCG. That on the Sunday, Carlton takes on Port Adelaide in a day game at the MCG. And then that twilight time, Essendon take on Freo at Marvel. Then on Monday, you got institutional, Hawthorn, Geelong. So then that would be the Easter round. Now then we head into round 6. And we have GWS taking on St Kilda, Monica Oval, Friday. Saturday, we have the Dogs bringing the Crows to Mars Stadium to get hammered, you'd think. Day game, Port Adelaide and West Coast battle it out at Adelaide Oval, which I think Port would win that one. As the twilight, and then that night, Freo take on Carlton at Optus Stadium. What a blockbuster that will be. Sunday, we have North Melbourne taking Hobart to Geelong. No, taking Geelong to Hobart. Spinestone Arena as a day game. Q-Clash, 3:40 Metricon Stadium. Gold Coast Brisbane that night. Sunday night, we have the traditional Richmond Melbourne. Then Monday, we have 2 games because that's the Anzac Eve game. Monday, we have Hawthorn taking on Sydney at Utah. Interesting matchup. And then we have Essendon taking on Collingwood as the traditional Anzac game. So now we're going to move on to round 7. Alright, guys. Now, round 7, we have West Coast taking on Richmond, Optus Stadium on a Friday night. Saturday, we have Geelong taking on Freo at GMHBA. And then also that day, we have Adelaide taking on GWS at the Adelaide Oval. Another day game. Twilight game, we have Melbourne taking on Hawthorn. And then the 2 night games, we have St Kilda taking on Port Adelaide, Kazaloo Stadium. And then Carlton taking on North Marvel Stadium. Sunday, May the 1st, we have Collingwood taking on the Suns, MCG. Dogs taking on the Bombers, MCG. Twilight game, Sydney taking on Brisbane at the SCG. That's how round 7 goes. Now into round 8, we have Port Adelaide. Well, we have 2 Friday night games. Interesting there, very interesting. Now, Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs. Night, Freo, North, night. That's Friday night's games. Saturday, Richmond taking on Collingwood, 1:15 MCG. Sydney taking on Gold Coast, 1:15 SCG. And then twilight game, we have GWS taking on Geelong, 2 night games. Essendon Hawthorn, and then Brisbane take on West Coast at the Gabba. Now, Sunday, 2 Sunday games. Melbourne take on St Kilda in the day game. And then, of course, twilight, Carlton takes on Adelaide. Now, round 9, going to hop into round 9. We have Collingwood taking on the Western Bulldogs. Friday night, Marvel Stadium. Saturday, 2 day games. We have Hawthorn taking on Richmond. Then this is an interesting one. North Melbourne take Port Adelaide down to Blundstone Arena. So that could be an interesting game. Twilight game, we have St Kilda taking on Geelong, Marvel Stadium. 2 night games, we have Sydney taking on Essendon, SCG. And then we have Adelaide taking on Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval. So Crows hosting another primetime game on a Saturday night. Sunday, we have Gold Coast taking on Fremantle during the day. GWS take on Carlton before that twilight slot, just an hour before that twilight slot. And West Coast take on Melbourne at Optus Stadium to end the rounds. So, now I'm going to be heading into round 10. Now, of course, date and time still to be worked out, but we have Carlton Sydney, Geelong Port Adelaide, GWS West Coast, Hawthorn Brisbane, North Melbourne Melbourne, Richmond Essendon, Western Bulldogs Gold Coast, Adelaide St Kilda, Freo Collingwood. So I say them as they host the home grounds. 11. We have Brisbane Giants, Collingwood Carlton, Geelong Adelaide, GMHBA, Crows in some trouble. Melbourne Freo, St Kilda North Melbourne, Sydney Richmond at the SCG. Interesting. Gold Coast Hawthorn, TIO Stadium being used, Port Adelaide Essendon, West Coast and then the Western Bulldogs. Round 12. Hawthorn Collingwood, Melbourne Sydney, Western Bulldogs Geelong, Adelaide Crows West Coast at the Adelaide Oval. Gold Coast versus North Melbourne, TIO Stadium, and Fremantle Brisbane at Optus, of course. That'll probably be a closing out game to end the round. Then we have Brisbane St Kilda, Collingwood Melbourne, Essendon Carlton, North Melbourne GWS, Richmond Port Adelaide, and then Freo Gold Coast. So there's some buys that round. And there will be a couple of buys actually. Then we have Gold Coast Adelaide Metricon Stadium, GWS Western Bulldogs. This is round 14. Richmond Carlton again. St Kilda Essendon, Port Adelaide Sydney, and West Coast Geelong. That'll be interesting. As West Coast welcome Geelong to their home grounds for a game. Carlton Fremantle, Collingwood GWS, Geelong Richmond, Melbourne Brisbane, North Melbourne Adelaide. So North Melbourne take Adelaide down to Blundstone Arena as well. They take both the South Australian teams down there. They're having a lot of games there actually. Hawthorn, they might have some more Utahs as well. Sydney St Kilda, Western Bulldogs Hawthorn, Port Adelaide Gold Coast, and West Coast Essendon. Now there, round 16. Brisbane Western Bulldogs, Carlton St Kilda, Essendon Sydney, Geelong North Melbourne, Gold Coast Collingwood, GWS Hawthorn, Richmond West Coast, Adelaide Melbourne at Adelaide Oval, Fremantle taking on Port Adelaide at Optus Stadium as well. That's a interesting thing. It's not like Port Adelaide have played over there a lot. Maybe they have played over there a little bit. But not really against Freo. Round 17 we hop into Brisbane Essendon, Collingwood North Melbourne, Geelong Melbourne, Gold Coast Richmond, Hawthorn Adelaide, St Kilda Freo, Sydney Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide GWS Giants, West Coast Carlton. Alright, that's what we have for that. Round 18, we have Carlton Geelong, Essendon Gold Coast, GWS Brisbane, Hawthorn West Coast, North Melbourne Richmond, Western Bulldogs St Kilda, Adelaide Collingwood. Adelaide have a good game there. Melbourne Port Adelaide, TIO Traeger Park, Northern Territory, and then Freo Sydney. Melbourne Port Adelaide, TIO Traeger Park in the Northern Territory. Interesting. Another Q clash, Brisbane Gold Coast at the Gabba, Carlton GWS, Collingwood Essendon again. North Melbourne take on Hawthorn down at Blundstone. Richmond, Fremantle, Sydney Adelaide, Western Bulldogs Melbourne, grand final rematch again. Port Adelaide Geelong, and West Coast St Kilda. So now, round 20, starting to fly through them now. Collingwood Port Adelaide, Essendon North, Geelong, Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast, West Coast. The coasts, the Battle of the Coasts. Alright, had to have a drink. And a cough. Richmond, Brisbane, St Kilda Hawthorn, Sydney GWS, so another rivalry. Adelaide Carlton at the Adelaide Oval. Fremantle Melbourne. Adelaide Carlton Adelaide Oval. That'll be a good game as well. Funny how I'm picking out the Crows. Then Carlton get tested against Brisbane. Brisbane Carlton. Geelong St Kilda. GWS Essendon. Hawthorn Gold Coast at UTAS. Melbourne Collingwood. North Melbourne Sydney. Western Bulldogs Fremantle at Marvel. Port Adelaide takes on Richmond. West Coast Adelaide at the Optus Stadium. Round 22. Essendon Port Adelaide. Gold Coast Geelong. Melbourne Carlton. Richmond Hawthorn. St Kilda Brisbane. Sydney Collingwood. Western Bulldogs GWS. Adelaide North. The Adelaide Oval. And then another derby. Fremantle West Coast. So I haven't seen another Adelaide Port Adelaide yet. So it's got to be this round. I reckon it's going to be this round. Brisbane Melbourne. Carlton Collingwood. Rivalry. Essendon Richmond. Geelong West Coast. GWS Fremantle. Hawthorn Dogs at UTAS. North Melbourne Gold Coast. St Kilda Sydney. And there you have it. Port Adelaide, round 23. Can you believe it? Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide, the showdown, round 23. Put it on as the last game of the season. That would be a hilarious laugh. Now, there's a couple more things I need to show you. Alright, games you can't miss. The grand final rematch, the opener. Carlton's first game under Voss the Boss, which will be up against, of course, it'll be up against Richmond. Then we have Son of a Gun debuts Pie, so it'll be Craig McRae, and it'll be Nick Dacos, so against St Kilda Friday night. Sydney rivals clash in front of Monster Crowd. Mitchell's coaching debut against number 1 pick. Buddy Trace for history. Western Derby. Historic Friday night showdown. There's plenty of stuff here. Bailey returns to the scene of crime, which of course is like what happened at GMHBA Stadium. Toby Green's return. Adam Cherry vs Fremantle. Brisbane Gold Coast Q Clash. Anzac Day Eve. Anzac Day. Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs. Collingwood Western Bulldogs. Sydney Essendon. Dreamtime at the G, of course. It'll be Richmond Essendon. I believe, yes. Essendon, Richmond, GWS versus Western Bulldogs, Richmond versus North Melbourne, Melbourne in Alice Springs, and that is it. Alright, so we're going to look at who has the hardest draw. Adelaide. So play twice, Carlton, Collingwood, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, West Coast first for Fremantle home, Collingwood away, Port Adelaide home, Essendon away. Last three, West Coast away, North Melbourne home, Port Adelaide away by round 13. Degree of difficulty, 63, ranked 17th hardest. What the club says, after joining the club, did not take me long to work out these games. Showdown in round 3 are as big as intense as any rivalry in the competition. Getting a covered Friday night time slot has been one of our priorities with this fixture. CEO Team Silvers. Brisbane, played twice. Essendon, Gold Coast, GWS, Melbourne, St Kilda. First four, Port Adelaide home, Essendon away, North Melbourne home, Geelong away. Last two, Carlton home, St Kilda away, Melbourne home by round 14. Degree of difficulty, 40 equal fourth. With what the club says, we're delighted to retain our Easter Thursday blockbuster against Collingwood, and also welcome big clubs like Melbourne, Essendon and Carlton back to the Gabba in 2021. Saw packed crowds and a record membership number for the club, and we think this is a fixture that can help us continue to build on that in 2022. We would have liked to have had an additional game in Melbourne this year, but unfortunately that's not the case. We look forward to making it up with events and additional opportunities where we can. Greg Swan, CEO. Carlton played twice. Adelaide, Collingwood, Fremantle, GWS, Richmond. First for Richmond home, Western Bulldogs away, Hawthorn home, Gold Coast away. Last three, Brisbane away, Melbourne away, Collingwood home by round 12. Degree of difficulty, 60, 16th. Not going to read what the club says anymore. Collingwood play twice, Adelaide, Carlton, Essendon, Gold Coast, Melbourne. First four, St Kilda away, Adelaide home, Geelong home, West Coast home. Last three, Melbourne away, Sydney away, Carlton away by round 14. Degree of difficulty, 54, that's 12th. Now, Essendon play twice, Brisbane, Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Sydney. First four, Geelong away, Brisbane home, Melbourne home, Adelaide. Melbourne away, Adelaide home. Last 3 GWS away. Port Adelaide home, Richmond home by round 12. Degree of difficulty 42 equals 7th. Fremantle, play twice. Adelaide, GWS, Melbourne, St Kilda, West Coast. First 4 Adelaide away, St Kilda home, West Coast away, GWS home. Last 3 Dogs away, West Coast home, GWS away by round 14. Degree of difficulty 42 equals 7th. Now Geelong, play twice. North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, St Kilda, West Coast, Western Bulldogs. First 4 Essendon home, Sydney away, Collingwood away, Brisbane home. Last 2 St Kilda home, Gold Coast away, West Coast home. By round 13, degree of difficulty 43 equal 9th. Now Gold Coast, play twice. Brisbane, Collingwood, Hawthorn, North Melbourne, West Coast. First 4 West Coast away, Melbourne home, GWS away, Carlton home. Last 3 Hawthorn away, Geelong home, North Melbourne away by round 13. Degree of difficulty 64, 18th hardest. GWS, play twice. Brisbane, Carlton, Fremantle, Sydney, Western Bulldogs. First 4 Sydney home, Richmond away, Gold Coast home, Fremantle away. Last 3 Essendon home, Western Bulldogs away, Fremantle home by round 12. Degree of difficulty 40 equal 4th. Now there. Play twice. Gold for Hawthorn, Gold Coast, North Melbourne, Richmond, St Kilda, Western Bulldogs. First 4 North Melbourne home, Adelaide away, Carlton away, St Kilda home. And then last 2 Gold Coast home, Richmond away, Western Bulldogs home by round 14. Degree of difficulty 55 equals 13th. Sorry, a cough. Melbourne, play twice. Brisbane, Collingwood, Fremantle, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs. First 4 Western Bulldogs home, Gold Coast away, Essendon home, Port Adelaide away. Last 3 Collingwood home, Carlton home, Brisbane away by round 14. Degree of difficulty 39 equals 2nd. Sorry for some background noise as well. Now down to North Melbourne, play twice. Adelaide, Geelong, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Sydney. First 4 Hawthorn away, West Coast home, Brisbane away, Sydney away. Last 3 Sydney home, Adelaide away, Gold Coast home by round 14. Degree of difficulty 55 equal 13th. Now, here we go. Port Adelaide, play twice. Adelaide, Essendon, Geelong, Melbourne, Richmond. First 4 Brisbane away, Hawthorn home, Adelaide away, Melbourne home. Last 3 Richmond home, Essendon away, Adelaide home by round 12. Degree of difficulty 39 equals 2nd. Alright. Now, Richmond, play twice. Carlton, Essendon, Hawthorn, Port Adelaide, West Coast. First 4 Carlton away, GWS home, St Kilda away, Western Bulldogs home. Last 3 Port Adelaide away, Hawthorn home, Essendon away by round 12. Degree of difficulty 49th, 11th. St Kilda, play twice. Brisbane, Fremantle, Geelong, Hawthorn, Sydney Swans. First 4 Collingwood home, Freo away, Richmond home, Hawthorn away. Last 3 Geelong away, Brisbane home, Sydney home by round 12. Degree of difficulty 41, 6th. Sydney, now getting to the pointy end. Play twice. Essendon, GWS, North Melbourne, St Kilda, Western Bulldogs. First 4 GWS away, Geelong home, Western Bulldogs away, North Melbourne home. Last 3 North Melbourne away, Collingwood home, St Kilda away. By round 13, degree of difficulty 43 equal 9th. Now, West Coast, play twice. Geelong, GWS, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Sydney Swans. First 4 Melbourne away. That's for West Coast. Melbourne? They don't play Melbourne first. That's a bit of a typo here. They play Gold Coast, so it'll be Gold Coast away. They play Gold Coast at home first. Okay, anyway, I'll just read it out as it is. Anyway, Melbourne away, Carlton home, Sydney home, Richmond away. Last 3 Fremantle home, GWS home, Hawthorn away by round 13. Degree of difficulty 57, 15th. Now, Western Bulldogs, final one. Play twice. Adelaide, Freo, Geelong, Gold Coast, Richmond. First 4 Gold Coast home, North Melbourne away. Fremantle home, Collingwood away. Last 3 Adelaide home, Fremantle away, Geelong away by round 13. Degree of difficulty 31. I'll see you guys on the final slide. Alright guys, so the AFL 2022 fixture has been revealed. Alright guys, you guys, afl.com.au, AFL app, that's how you guys see what I saw. Alright guys, that is going to be it though for today's video. I know it was long, I know, but it is a very big video. So I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye guys, Fire plays out.